your team. I think obviously everyone knows that this is going to be a difficult transition, but I think they're headed in the right direction, no question about it. And I like the direction that they're going.
In what areas?
I like offensively. I really do. I think so many times when you bring in a new offensive coordinator, you don't get to bring his offensive line coach in. So there's some cohesiveness that's there. And then you talk about the wide receiver. So I think wide receiver coach in Bellamy, who happens to be a former roommate, but I think it's a good mix. And when I watch them out here working, you see what they're trying to accomplish. So you see the game plan developing, and it's just now a matter of to be able to stay the course and continue to build on it.
You pay attention to the running backs. Give me your thoughts on these guys.
Well, I think, young Ferguson can play anywhere in this league. Whether or not they'd be a starter or not is another story, but, I think they're both talented guys that really, if the offensive line comes together like I think that they will, they'll be able to make some yards on the ground so it just doesn't become a pass rush drill from an offensive standpoint.
Do you have to wake up in the morning and have a sign over your head at all and know what town you're in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I am on these early calls. But, it's, as I always say, it beats digging ditches. And, at the end of the day, I sit around and watch football all day. So get a chance to watch it and really get a chance to see, just how other teams and organizations like to do things.
Do you watch an Illinois game any differently than you do the others?
Well, no, because I really don't. Obviously, I have a rooting interest there, but, I don't watch them. I kind of, try to be fair. At the end of the day, when I'm watching any of the games, when you critique them, you're trying to be fair, so you're trying to be balanced. So I don't watch any different.
I know last year you saw him in Champaign in the stadium. Do you like coming out there anything at all and seeing him here more or anything? Or?
I like watching him in the stadium. That way when I leave here, I can go right down to Green Street to find something. There's some built-in advantages of being there. But I understand why they come here and what the mindset is of bringing them here. And, it works. I'll say this. I think this is a drastically different team than the first time I saw them in their first spring. I just think that they have a swagger about them. There's a calmness around the program. So, like I said, I like where they're going.
Any advice you've given Bellamy at all?
No, I can't give you any advice coaching now. Just do a good job.
You look at the lines. That seems to be the big worry. What do you see out of their offensive, defensive line?
Well, I like the offensive line. I think the defensive line, they're going to have to do some things to get some pressure on the quarterback, which is not, so unlike a lot of programs that are out there that don't really have that dominant player that's up front. At least he has not emerged at this point that I can see. But it's one of those things. It's going to be a learning process. It's going to be an opportunity for some young guys to be able to step up and make an impact. But right now, I really don't see that particular guy in the defensive line that's going to be able to do it. I think when you talk about offensive line, it's the group. For those guys are moving at the same time and understand their assignments. Had a chance to watch them really in pre-practice, and it looks like they have a great grasp of what teams are going to be trying to do to them. Obviously, in camp, you're practicing against your own guys, but you at least get a feel for what they're trying to do.
Being a Big Ten guy for a long time, do you like having Maryland and Rutgers being added into the mix?
Well,
are you going to like those longer trips next time?
That's the thing. It's going to be a longer trip. DiNardo's trying to drive out there. Well, Refs and I are trying to fly out there and take care of that and then come back. But, it's going to be fun. I think this is what college sports and conferences have become. They're obviously huge money makers. You look at the TV deals that are going to be coming up here shortly, and you understand why. From an economic standpoint, some people look at it at first blush and don't see necessarily a fit. But, one thing that we know that Jim Delaney is usually a few steps ahead of everybody else when he starts to make moves.
What did you take away from just watching Aaron Bailey and Wes Lund? I know Lund didn't get many reps today, but...
Aaron Bailey is an athletic quarterback. He is very good, can throw the ball, has to continue to get better in that area. And I think at the end of the day, if you watch his high school career, the one thing that he is a competitor. So he's not going to, just throw up the white flag and not compete. He's out here competing every time as an opportunity to try to lead this team into the future. And Lunt is going to be a guy who I think also brings a big arm, different style of player, I think more of a pocket passer. But you're going to have two guys that are going to be competing, and one of them obviously is going to be the starter.